Over the years, I have posted a number of videos stating that the following year would not be the year for Star Citizen because we just seem too far away from any real tangible features. CitizenCon this year really changed a lot of people's outlook on the project and the game engine overall. And in this last Inside Star Citizen of the year, Jared literally said, this might be the year. But are they going to live up to the expectations they're setting for themselves? Now, what has lived up to my expectations is today's sponsor, Star Trek Fleet Command. Join millions of players in this Star Trek 4X MMO. Dominate the galaxy and experience the entire Star Trek universe with your favorite franchises like The Next Generation, the original series, and even more recent J.J. Abrams films or the Discovery TV show. In the new update, Star Trek Fleet Command is adding a new mission type, Wave Defense, where you can take 2 of your ships and team up with 4 of your friends to take on waves of increasingly difficult enemies. And what is also great is you aren't limited to only playing with your alliance mates. But this also comes with a twist. You cannot repair your ship while engaging in wave defense missions. Communication is the name of the game here. There are also 3 new officers, one of which is a new fleet commander, Luther Sloan, known for his dedication to protecting the Federation through morally ambiguous and secretive means. And then there's Riker, a highly skilled Starfleet officer known for strategic thinking and a strong sense of duty. And then finally, Deanna, known for her compassionate and empathetic nature. My favorite part of the game is that it is a cross-play game. You can play it on both PC and mobile. Think about those wave defense missions we just talked about. Being able to communicate via Discord to communicate who to fight next is going to be really, really important. So using PC there is my preference. Now, download the game using the link in my description. Once in game, go to your profile, open settings, and then choose general and sign up for a Scopely account. Then you go to their website, StarTrekFleetCommand.com, and click on the store icon. This is where you can enter the promo code WARPSPEED and redeem 10 epic shards of Kirk. And remember, you must redeem before hitting level 10. So once again, click the link in my description down below and try out this awesome game. And thank you so much to Star Trek Fleet Command for sponsoring today's video. Now, first off, every year the game adds more and more features. So naturally, each year feels better than the last. 2023 was no different. Even though it had a very, very rough start with the implementation of persistent entity streaming, we also got the cargo refactor, which was literally game-changing, sweeping law system changes, and the reactivation of Security Post Korea, proper racing, hull stripping, tractor beam improvements, vehicle tractor beams, and the now pending structural salvage and openable containers. This year, gameplay-wise, is arguably the best year the game ever had. But it doesn't exactly have a lot of competition now, does it? So let's get back to 2024. There is so much excitement around a lot of the features that even CIG isn't tempering expectations anymore. So expect many creators to be making videos saying how this coming year will be the year for Star Citizen. And I really think we need to pump the brakes a little bit and not get too far ahead of ourselves. CitizenCon showed that the focus on Squadron 42 certainly had its benefits. So many things looked really polished at the event, but as we see them come online and into the live game, namely settlements and what they were able to show for Pyro and some of the FPS weapon and health changes, things are not as polished as they seemed. But on the bright side, there was a special little announcement made at the event that has already changed the landscape of the game this year and likely forever. About a month ago, we were literally playing in Pyro in a build that was just there for us to give it a try and get feedback on it, and that was the preview channel. Next, players were able to use this preview channel to test the replication layer split just this last week, which we saw demoed at CitizenCon, and this eventually should really help mitigate a lot of the pain that server crashes cause, and maybe even free some load up on the servers in the persistent universe. One of the more disappointing, but totally understandable situations is that Jared and the team has been putting on Star Citizen Lives with the teams that have shared presentations at CitizenCon. And so far, each one of these shows is setting expectations much lower than CitizenCon did. Naturally, it is much more difficult to get features into a multiplayer environment than it is to create a presentation on a PowerPoint or a short video explaining the feature. It may seem that I'm the same old complaining Mike, always seeing the worst in things. And honestly, that couldn't be farther from the truth around my feelings for this coming year. Do I think this is the year Star Citizen puts it all together and delivers the experience I was looking for when I backed the game in 2013? No, of course not. But I'm generally really excited for 2024 because of many factors. First, Squadron 42 being feature complete is a really big step to a higher percentage of the company working on the game that most of us backed for. But it's also hopefully going to bring some of that polish for the user experience that we really need. The new star map, mini-maps, interactions, both in and out of our ships, the looting UI, and more is going to be welcomed with open arms from the community for sure. Second, the preview channel is going to allow this year to be far different than any year we ever had. Every single patch before this only included features that they were not just working on, but planning on putting in that very next update. As many of you can see though, we don't have Pyro. We can't jump to it, and we aren't able to experience even a quarter of the features that we should have if it was finished, right? But this new mentality of bringing features to players' hands without them needing to be ready to go should really make this year full of surprises, but it also should just generally make it feel more full with more things to experience. As of right now, summer next year, they're planning on releasing 4.0. That is the actual Pyro with meshing and jump points, all of it. But leading up to that, you can expect multiple preview channel tests in that system, maybe even with the jump points and server meshing involved. So while we will have to wait for it to hit live, that doesn't mean that we won't have that chance to experience the next evolution of Star Citizen. Since CitizenCon, CIG really hasn't let off the gas either in terms of their just live updates, and I expect that to continue, after they get back from the holidays, of course, into the first quarter patch. But now until the devs that are moving over to the PU from the single-player campaign are settled in, it's going to be really hard to tell what kind of impact they will have on the game's polish, depth of the features, and how fast they're getting them to us. Now, we did hear about what we can expect in the first half of the year, but what we don't know is how much of these features we'll actually see. Expect many features to fall into that structural salvage category of get it into their hands as quickly as possible. And I don't know if you can tell, but my tone has changed very differently from the discussion around the Pyro preview channel. That's because it has. The reason for the preview channel is for experiences just like we're having with Salvage. This feature is nowhere near polished and easily could have gotten feedback it needed in a quick little test before they delivered it fully. That being said, I enjoy many aspects of structural salvage and have been playing it in game. It doesn't really make the game any worse than it already is. So there's pluses and minuses here. Now, remember this panel at CitizenCon where they blew me away with the fact that they're making actual armor progression in game coming in 322? And then this is what we have in the PU. No archetypes, no progression, just clothing that acts as armor. So this is what I basically expect for the first half of the year. A lot of features, updating existing gameplay, quality of life, events, locations, sandbox tools, and more in a get it to you as fast as possible state, rather than a polished one. Is that bad? Like with Salvage, it's not like they can really make the game any worse, but it makes the game feel different and fresh and new. So no, this won't be the year for Star Citizen, but I expect the game to look completely different than it does today. And I think that is the most important place for the game to be right now. On top of this, we're already seeing little hints of the economy team starting to get their fingers into things. So as a stretch, I think maybe we start to see some sense added back into the world at a minimum when it comes to mission rewards, shop pricing, and some gold sinks. What I don't expect is for this game to feel like that daily driver MMO that some of you guys are looking for coming this year. I just hope that what we feel is that we're finally on track towards that goal instead of whatever we've had for the last few years. Now, I'm sure you guys are looking for more concrete information about what we might see this year. So I want to list off some major features that they're saying are targeted and currently on track to make it into the first half of the year. Master modes is the first one, and they're also already calling it to be staggered, like some ships might have master modes and some might not. I don't know how that's going to work. They also mentioned persistent hangars and freight elevators. I certainly expect to see the hangars. I don't know about all of the updates around this. Are we going to have the kiosk? Are we going to be managing our cargo and everything from here? How encompassing will this feature be? And how are the persistent nature of hangars going to work? Very interested in that. More FPS improvements from CitizenCon. I also expect to see a lot of these, but it's not exactly going smoothly right now, is it? So backpack reloading, dynamic crosshair, and more are probably going to struggle at their first implementation, like with most things. Many of the things from the character panel are also expected to be in, like the looting screen, personal interaction system, EVA changes, and more. The full character customizer is slated for the new year as well. They didn't say it, but I also expect to see a lot more hairstyles that they also showed at CitizenCon. They're even saying we're going to get the Moby-Glass and new star map. Are we still buying this? I'm not sure. And then lastly, this is where I am completely lost. The new underground facilities are going to be in. If they are in, they're going to be in a limited capacity, I guess. In the end, whether any of this makes it in, polished or not, it will make Star Citizen better. But will it make the game? No. Every year, a bunch of features make it in, but for lack of better words, they aren't meshed together to make a cohesive experience that players can enjoy day in and day out. There were many things not mentioned that are either slated for the end of the year or likely won't make it in. Base building is the first one, and I think this has no chance, and they will share updates around it to keep us on that hook. I can guarantee that. And then blueprints and crafting. We'll have to see with this one. I have no idea how this is going to work out, but this is my most anticipated feature, so hopefully going to see that at the end of the year. And then Maelstrom. Maybe we'll be breaking some building pieces apart, but like they showed in the demo, but are we going to get the blowing up ships and this working on every single thing? I'm not so sure. So what other features do I expect to see in 2024? Well, at a minimum, I expect to be testing the game in some form of a server meshed environment, whether in the PU or not. I think we'll have a very early look at faction reputation and how that really changes the way the players experience the game. Imagine never being allowed to go to Grimhex because you don't have the proper rep. I'm also really curious what an unlawful player's experience will be like. I really hope these kind of reputation things play more into cargo missions and bounties. And speaking of bounties, they seemed really hard at work on the bounty hunting V2, and haven't heard much about it since. Will that be in? Hopefully. And lastly, engineering. I doubt we'll see any super polished version of this by any means, but I do think we'll see it in an experimental mode in Arena Commander. The multi-crew experience in Star Citizen has to be better. We will never get the year without a good multi-crew experience, in my opinion. So will this be the best year Star Citizen ever had? Probably. But will it be the year? That's up to you, each individual watching this video, and that plays the game. For you, this could be. For me, I need that cohesive experience. And to get there, we need things to experience first. And that's what I hope this year is. Hammer down as many basic experiences as possible, tie them together loosely with things like reputation, and towards the end of the year, I hope to feel some confidence that they can really be putting things together. And that's where I'll leave you guys. Let me know what you guys think about the coming year. Are you excited? Are you expecting some of the same old delays and things like that? Let me know down in the comments below. Hit subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit like as well. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.